Marvel, you have to kill off Ben Reilly. Or at least leave him alone. Hey, it's Jug. Ben Reilly has been a fan favorite Spider-Person ever since his initial introduction. Well, sorta. Ben Reilly has always had fans, and those fans are really hardcore. But every storyline he seems to be involved in ends up becoming pretty convoluted. I mean, especially look at one of his first major storylines, the Clone Saga in the 90s, where Marvel tried to make Ben Reilly into the main Spider-Man, and that was extremely controversial. Since that failure, Marvel has not known what to do with Ben Reilly. I mean, the whole reason they brought that clone back was to try and make him the main Spider-Man, but people didn't seem to want that. This has led to Marvel experimenting with Ben Reilly, killing him off, turning him into a hero again, killing him off again, turning him into a villain a couple times, then killing him off again, then bringing him back as the main Spider-Man, and then turning him into a villain again. It has become this cycle of suffering for Ben Reilly fans, where he comes back and he's a hero and everything's great, but then he dies or he's turned into a villain again and he loses all the character progress he made. Although this happened multiple times, like in the Clone Conspiracy, where Ben Reilly is brought back from the dead, but becomes the Jackal, the villain who created him, who Peter and Ben hate last time I checked, so I don't know why he'd become the Jackal. But the most recent occurrence was during the Spider-Man Beyond storyline. The Spider-Man Beyond storyline from 2022 saw Peter Parker's Spider-Man put into a coma, and Ben Reilly brought back once again as the main Spider-Man. But this time, instead of being like a freelance Spider-Man just like Peter Parker, Ben Reilly's actually working for the Beyond Corporation. Although this run did have moments with Peter and his supporting cast, the main focus of the comic was actually on Ben, his girlfriend Janine, and a new supporting cast brought in from the Beyond Corporation. The whole run focused on fleshing out Ben, his girlfriend, and even random people in the Beyond Corporation. After all the pain, suffering, and out-of-character writing Ben had gone through over the years, it felt like this was the moment that Ben was finally getting his redemption arc in the comics. And like 20 issues in, things were still going in a positive direction. He seemed to be once again on par with Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Fans were excited for the future of Ben Reilly, believing that it would be a good one. Sadly, the fans were wrong, and this did not last. At the end of the Beyond storyline, Ben's life crumbled. He lost his memories, and he was turned once again into a villain. This time, the villain's name was Chasm. And he would be a villain obsessed with obtaining Spider-Man's memories. And I'm sure this sounds convoluted and stupid, but keep in mind, this was the second time in pretty much a decade that Ben Reilly had been turned from hero into villain again. But this time might have been even worse. Not only was Ben arguably a more shitty villain, but with all the backlash and hate from the fans of what happened, a response came from editor Nick Lowe. Nick Lowe is the editor of the Spidey office, so he helps make all these different creative decisions. Lowe said that it is difficult to find a place for Ben in the modern books, and that only fueled the fire. Fans only became even more outraged, pointing to runs like J.M. DeMatteis's run on Ben Reilly's Spider-Man, where it was proven that Ben still had areas where he could grow and stories could be told about him. This was a character who had potential. He had just been the main Spider-Man with Peter Parker's blessing. He had a dedicated fan base who wanted to see him succeed. And he had just recovered from being a villain and shown that he was truly worthy of being Spider-Man. But that was all taken away from him to just turn him into a crappy villain that could have been an original new creation. But what do you think? Did Ben not have a place in the modern books if they didn't make these changes? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.